creating confidence is about having undeniable proof that you can do something. And so we develop confidence in skills, but it can be broken down even more than that. You know, that's a pretty simple map to say, hey, how do you generally build confidence? But if you want to build a specific resource for someone and a pathway for them to build confidence, to get them out of that fear of failure, the anxiety of not being sure what they're looking at, you need to have a much more careful approach. So this is what I've been doing today, is creating a Create Confidence course for some of our students, because a lack of confidence is probably the single biggest pain point that we come across in our company. If you don't know who I am, Christian Morris. I'm one of the founders of Maths Tutors Online. This is my third business. Had a coffee shop, 6-figure business, chocolate factory, 7-figure business, and hopefully this will be the biggest, largest, final, soon 8-figure business. So that's a brief bit about me. But going back to confidence. When you teach someone something, if they are scared to even give things a go, which most children in a school setting that we speak to are, to be honest, they are even too scared to have a go, so they say, I don't know. So we need to build up their confidence in order to give them the opportunity to even try again. So the easiest way to go about doing that is to create a really, really simple system where they succeed most of the time. We're talking over 80% of the time. And the important thing here is confidence comes from predictability of success. So proof that you have done it before, and therefore you know that you're going to be able to do it again. It doesn't actually matter whether or not you know why things are working, or even if it's just guessing. But if you guessed a coin flip 100 times in a row, you're going to be pretty sure the next one's going to be right, because for you to get 100 in a row is so mathematically unlikely that you have to be psychic or telekinetic or a god. And so we can use that same mentality to lift someone out of this slump by basically easing them into it. If you start with why, and the fundamental understanding of how things work, it can often lead to cognitive overload, right? Too much going on, they kind of freak out, computer says no, and they don't even try. So, how we go about building our system, or how I'm going to build this, is starting off simply with a trigger. When you see this, ... right? If they can successfully identify a trigger consistently, they will understand that's a thing, and I have recognized that thing, and I know what to do from there. And then that's step 2, is what to do. So after I recognize this thing, do these steps. They don't have to understand why they're doing the steps, but they have to be able to do them. Like, I'm not the best chef in the world, but I can follow a recipe. Like, it's pretty easy to do that. And then the last thing is expected outcome. You should then get this. If they do those 3 things consistently, they will go into a question saying, that's trigonometry, a SOHCAHTOA question, it's a right angle triangle, therefore trigonometry. I use SOHCAHTOA, and I should get an answer which is either the length of a side, and then give them within the boundaries that they know their answer should be right, or an angle. And again, within the limits that they should know they're right. Now, I'm not going to teach you that, but there are expected outcomes. Let's say you are measuring or calculating the height of a person. If you get 4 meters for a person's height, that's probably wrong. So we can do lots of guesstimate checks. And in maths, they're full of them. Like, does this number sound right? Was that roughly what I'm expecting? Those are the only things required to build confidence, really, is those 3 simple steps, and then repetition so that they can feel that they understand those things. Now, once we have pattern recognition, then you can go into genuinely building mastery, understanding why these things work, why we're doing what we're doing, and being able to play the game of, if we make this change. But the trick is, you can't build, especially someone who is fragile, you can't build confidence up through that methodology if they're scared to even try. And so giving them tricky questions or mixed topic questions isn't going to be an effective way to do that. And then the last most important bit is people need to actually realise they've had a change, because that's going to be super helpful. So you can ask a couple of really simple questions, which you can't ask directly, do you feel more confident? Because that's hard to tell. But you can ask, on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you to get a trigonometry question correct? Or for step question 2, how likely are you to know what to do? I enjoy this topic. And then they can give a score, 1 saying never, 5 saying definitely, and anywhere in between. And then they can compare the before and after. This is the approach that I'm taking with my Create Confidence course, which is just a piece of goodwill, a piece of a free resource that I'm going to give out to help solve our key avatar's main problem. And this kind of links to what I was talking about yesterday, which is creating capacity, creating this goodwill, creating all of these resources to help more people more often, that hopefully will come around, and not only will we help other people, but that will in turn help us be able to help more people. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. This is how I'm going about creating this resource. This was what I thought on and broke down to make simpler today, to be able to make this resource to help other people. So hopefully it has helped you, because it's definitely helped me understand that you don't need to understand everything to build confidence. You just need to know that you're consistently right. That's the trick. And so if you can give a subset of problems where they know they are right, that will build confidence, and confidence will give you the opportunity to try. And that's where you can then expand learning. There we go. Hope that was helpful. Have a great day. Peace.